Talking to the boss. Unless you are the owner of the company, you will have a boss. This lesson will cover all English you need to know to express what you want to say to your boss. This will include asking for feedback, explanation, showing frustration, asking for more work, and more. If you are doing a project and you want your manager to review it before submitting it, then you can ask the manager in several ways. Did you want to review my project? I just completed the assignment. Did you want to review it? This is my first project, and I was wondering if you could review it real quick. I think I covered all the bases, but could you do a quick check? If you are new at your job, then it is good to ask for feedback. This can be done when you complete a project or after several months on the job. Some companies have a process in place where you have a weekly one-on-one meeting with your manager. You can use this time to talk about your work and anything else on your mind. If you don't have a weekly meeting, then you might have to set up a time with your manager to discuss your progress. Hi, Roger. Can we set up a time to discuss my progress so far? I was wondering if we can meet to discuss how I am doing. If you are doing work that doesn't include projects or assignments, then you can't ask for feedback on the work you completed, but you can ask how you have been doing in the last several months. Can I get some feedback on my performance? Where do you think I need to improve? What areas do you think I should work on? If you have a project you completed, you can ask for feedback on the project, but make sure you give your manager enough time to review the work before asking for feedback. Did you finish reviewing my project I completed? Hi, Mark. This was my first project, and I wanted to know how I did so I can improve. Where do you think I could have done better? Is there any areas that I could have done better? What should I do better for next time? What areas did I do well, and what areas did I do poorly? Asking for more work. Most companies will have so much work that you will never run out of things to do, but there are times when you don't have enough to do. In this situation, you should ask your manager to give you more work. Hi, Mark. I finished all my weekly duties already. Do you have more work I can do? I've been completing my work early on a regular basis. Can I have more responsibilities? I have a lot of extra time. I usually double-check all my work, but that doesn't take much time. Is there additional work I can do? Although asking for more work is a good sign of being productive, there's actually something better. Instead of asking for more work, find the extra work without asking. After you find something to do, then tell your manager that you want to do the work. I had extra time on my hands, so I started investigating the network problem. If you don't mind, I would like to work on this project to help the office productivity around here. If you were a manager, would you want someone asking you what to do, or would you prefer a worker who found a problem and wants to fix it? I have had people ask me for more work, and it is stressful trying to think of something. I am busy, and I don't have that much time to find extra work. If a worker identifies more work to do, then I would appreciate it that much more. I've been completing my work a day early every week. I know the reference material has been sitting there for some time. Would you like me to do that project, or did you want to assign another project to me? Although having extra time to do more work is a good situation to be in, there might be times when you have too much work. Here are a couple of sentences to ask for help. Hi, Mark. The addition we made to the project made it difficult to complete by myself. If the deadline doesn't change, I will need some help to complete it. Can you assign someone to help me out? I've spent every minute on this project and have been putting in serious overtime. This project is a lot bigger than we anticipated. I'm going to need some help to complete it on time. Do you have anyone available to help me? The alpha project has been eating so much of my time that I didn't have much time to work on the beta project. Is there anyone with extra bandwidth to help me finish the beta project? Complaining and showing frustration. Showing frustration is okay if you do it right. If you are frustrated and you start complaining, then the manager will either think you are not capable of doing your work, or the manager will realize that you have way too much work. So it is important how you complain and how you show your frustration. Showing frustration because of your mistake is okay to do. It shows that you are upset at yourself and that you can't believe you made a mistake. So it is indicating to the manager that you are not going to screw up again. Hopefully, you won't screw anything up, but just in case, here are some ways to show your frustration. I can't believe I messed that up. I don't think I am stupid, but this is suggesting otherwise. I am so frustrated at myself. How did I not catch that? Complaining about someone else is not good, but if you are so frustrated and you have to tell your manager, take a deep breath, calm yourself down, and say something like my example as calmly as you can. It's frustrating working with Tim. I'm doing everything I can to help, and I'm trying to be understanding, but he is slowing our project down immensely. The best kind of frustration is when the manager knows exactly what you are talking about. If the manager is frustrated as well, then he or she will completely understand. An example of this is when you are working with another company and they are not doing their work properly. I'm having a hard time working with ABC company. They are always late and the work they do has numerous errors. It is really frustrating because I have to spend a great deal of time proofreading the material. I recommend not giving ABC company any more work. Talking to your boss about another boss. Sometimes there are multiple bosses and they both give you work. This can cause some problems. The best way to handle this situation is to tell your direct boss what is happening so it gets straightened out at the management level. Hey Mark, I'm doing all the projects you gave me, but John gives me additional work. I don't mind it, but lately it's been too much. Hey Mark, John has been assigning a lot of work to me. I have a lot of current work I am doing, so I would like to know what work has more priority. John wants me to do the payroll analysis. He says he needs it by end of week. But didn't you want the employee head count finished by Friday? I can't finish both. What should I do first? If another boss is giving you a hard time, you can tell your manager what you think. Here are some professional sentences that you can use to show your frustration about another boss. I'm having some problems with John lately. He's very critical and puts me down in public. I don't know what I am doing wrong, so I don't know where I need to improve. What do you think I should do about this? John has been very difficult to work with. He is very bossy and expects everything to be done his way. I have been tolerating it because he is a manager, but some of his methods are wasting a lot of time. I always suggest other ways, but he will not hear me out.
Hi, Matt. I finished the assignment on the documents. Did you get a chance to review them?
Yeah, I already reviewed them. It was pretty good.
Since it was my first project, I was wondering if I can get some feedback.
Well, you finished the project in time, and seeing how it was your first assignment, you did very well.
Thanks. If it wasn't my first assignment, where do you think I need to improve?
That's a fair question. I think you could have spent a little more time documenting the difference between process A and process B. You showed a lot of the similarities, but lacking a little on the differences.
I'll keep that in mind. How about the structure? I changed the template a little because I wanted to add a section for recommendation.
I like the addition. Usually people just enter it into the comments section on the bottom, but having a clear section makes it stand out. That was good.
Was there anything else? I like to get feedback early so I can improve.
No problem. Everything else on the assignment was great. The only other tip I can give you is sending me more updates. If I knew you were stuck on section C for a while, I could have saved you a lot of time. So keep me aware on your status.
That makes sense. I'll do that. Thanks for the feedback.
Don't mention it, and good job on the assignment.
Thanks. Hi, Mark. I completed Project A and didn't have anything else to work on. Should I find something to do, or did you have something lined up?
I won't have another assignment for you until next Monday. What will you be doing until then?
I'm not sure. I was thinking about investigating the reporting issue we were having, but that's a low priority now. But if there's nothing else to do, it might be good to finally fix that.
How about John? He told me that he needed a little help on Project C. Why don't you ask him if he still needs help? If not, then check out the reporting issue.
John? I've been meaning to talk to you about him.
What's the problem?
I don't want to be out of line, but he's very difficult to work with. He looks over my shoulder all the time and doesn't like how I am doing things.
Yeah, he is like that. I appreciate your feedback, and you are not the first to bring this up. Although he is difficult, he does get a lot of work done around here.
I completely agree, and I will continue to work with him as well as I can. I just thought I should let you know instead of keeping it bottled up.
I appreciate your honesty, but for now, you're going to have to tolerate his methods a little longer. I'll see if the director is willing to have a talk with John about this problem.
Okay. Well, I'll go see what type of help John needs. If there is nothing, I'll work on the reporting problem. Either way, I'll send you an email letting you know what I am working on.
That would be perfect. Thanks.
Thanks. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Talking to your subordinate or direct. If you are a manager, then you will more likely have someone reporting to you. The most common terminology I am used to is a direct. Throughout this lesson, I will use the word direct. There are many things you have to say to a direct. You have to give them work, explain things, encourage them to do better, and even reprimand them when they are not performing well. We will cover these types of sentences in this lesson. Status. A common question a manager asks is to find out what the status of a project is. What is the status of the marketing documents? How far along are you in your analysis? Are you almost done with the technical report? When are you going to finish the design plans? Can you give me a status on your progress so far? How is the reporting assignment going? When can you give me a working draft by? Requesting a weekly status mail from your direct is very common among large companies with many employees. Basically, the status mail will include what has been accomplished the current week and what will be done next week. If your company has this process, or if you just want to implement it yourself, you can tell your direct something like the following. At the end of every week, can you send me a weekly status mail? I'll email you a template you should follow. You should email it to me every Friday. I want you to send me a status report at the end of every week. You should include what you did for that week and what you plan on doing for the next week. Can you send me a weekly status report? If you haven't done it before, let me know and I will send you a template to use. Project change. There are times when a project changes and you have to tell your direct to change something. Let's work on some sentences where you do this. I know you have been working on the database using Excel, but we need to use SQL. Can you make the necessary changes? Although you don't have to be polite to your direct, it is good practice to show direct some common courtesy. In the sentence above, it recognizes the work that has been done so far, instructs what needs to be changed, and politely asks if they can do it. You should follow a similar way of asking your direct to change something. In another scenario, your direct might give you a report to review. If something is incorrect or not complete, you should tell them professionally what needs to be redone. Hey Jackie, I reviewed your report and there are a couple areas you have to change. Can you double check the figures you provided in page 7 and provide a recommendation for step 3? I would appreciate it. This example is a little more firm, but still polite. It states that changes are required. It then asks if 2 things can be changed, and finally, adds a good comment about appreciating the work. Finally, your direct could be doing something on a regular basis that you don't like. As a manager, you should tolerate things that do not affect the work. But if there is something that is work-related, it is your responsibility to tell that person. Let's use an example where a person has a habit of talking before someone finishes. John, when we are discussing something in meetings or small groups, I notice that you don't allow the other person to complete their sentences. I do appreciate your contributions, but I think you should always hear the other person out. Can you try to do that? Adding a simple phrase like appreciating the contribution can make a huge difference when giving criticism. There is a great chance the direct will be offended or upset, but if you add a small compliment in there, the chances of the direct accepting your criticism will be that much greater. Deadline. Deadlines and due dates are common among projects and assignments. Sometimes, the deadline changes or your direct needs a reminder. In any case, you should know some sentences how to convey the deadline. Here's your new project. You have 2 weeks to complete it. After you review the project, let me know if there will be any problems. You have until the end of this month to complete your assignment. It is critical that everyone completes on time. We have 2 more days to complete the test pass. If anyone cannot complete their portion on time, let me know as soon as possible. We are not required to send in our analysis until Wednesday, so you have a couple more days to complete it. Do you think you can finish the marketing report by Friday? Our deadline is fast approaching. I try to minimize weekend work, but we might have to work this Saturday if we do not finish on Friday. Subordinate asking you questions. All directs at one time or another asks you questions on how to do something or asks what something is. The average employee will usually ask you something that is obvious and you simply tell them. Sometimes, however, a smart employee asks difficult questions that you are not sure about. If an employee asks you a factual question that you are not sure about, you can always refer them to other sources. I'm not sure about that one. I think the information you were looking for is in a manual I saw in the file cabinet. Why don't you check there? Do a search on Google and see if you can find the information there. I think Stacy will know the answer. She is very familiar with that topic. If the question is more process related, where it involves an opinion, you can answer telling them what you would do. I'm not sure on the exact procedure, but if I were you, I would do the 4th step before the 3rd one. I don't think we ever decided on a specific way. I think it might be better to do this before that. These are vague sentences, so you should fill in the details depending on your situation. Encouraging. As a good manager, you should encourage great workers and bad workers. Good directs need encouraging to keep them working hard. Bad employees need encouragement to work harder. Here are some sentences for both types. Hey James, I think you're doing a great job and it's not going unnoticed. You're doing great. Keep up the good work. I told my manager about your performance. He was quite impressed. Keep up the good work. Directs having difficulty. I had a hard time on my first project too. Don't let it get you down. I'm sure you will do better next time. It wasn't as bad as you think. I also saw definite improvements, so you shouldn't give up. Your work has been pretty good, but I really think you can do better. You have potential, and I hope you start trying a little harder. Reprimanding. Finally, when you have an employee that is doing something wrong, such as being late, turning in a project late, or not performing well, it is your responsibility to let them know. If someone is always late, then you don't have to ask for an excuse. If it was one time, then it is okay. but if they are constantly late, there is no excuse for it. You have been late for work on a regular basis. You better start coming to work on time. This is your third warning. If you are late for work again, we will have to take more serious action on you. Is that understood? Being late for work once in a while is understandable, but there is no excuse to be coming into work late every day. You better start coming in on time. When a direct doesn't turn in a project, it's a pretty serious no-no. I would definitely be upset, but as a good manager, I wouldn't excuse the employee without giving them a chance to explain. Here is an example. The report was due last Friday. What's going on? This is more like a trap question. Unless it is a life or death situation, the excuse shouldn't be good enough. Here is a generic excuse. I was working on 3 other assignments. I just couldn't finish them all. This is not a good excuse, so you can start reprimanding the employee. You gave them a chance to explain, and since the excuse wasn't good enough, you can basically let them have it. If you were not going to finish on time, at least you could have let me know. Regardless, you knew how important this project was, and you knew about the due date. What am I going to do with you? You should have at least told me that you wouldn't be able to finish. Then I could have asked Mary to finish it. This is very irresponsible of you. Is this going to be a continual problem in future projects?
John, are you going to complete the report on time?
I am confident that I will have it done by this Friday.
How far along are you?
I have completed the preliminary review, analyzed the data, and I am almost done writing the analytical review.
That's great. It looks like you are ahead of schedule. When you are done, send it to me for review.
I'll send it to you Friday morning. That should give you a day to review it.
That's great. Keep up the good work.
Can you give me an update on your assignments?
Yeah. I'm helping with the performance testing. I've met with the partners for the integration project, and I'm finishing up the documents on the internal tool.
That's good. Can you start sending me a weekly report? That'll help me keep track of your progress regularly.
No problem. Do you want it by the start of Monday, or do you want it Friday evening?
I'm probably not going to read it until Monday, so just send it to me by Monday morning.
What do you want me to include in the weekly report?
Include what you did for the week, what you're going to do for the next week, and include any other issues you have.
I'll start doing that this week.
Great. Thanks.
John, can I see you in my office?
I'll be right over.
Have a seat. I'm concerned about your performance lately. Is there something I should know about?
I've been pretty occupied at home. I apologize for letting it affect work. I'll definitely pay more attention.
I understand, but I'm still having to take some heat on your work. You have been late numerous times, your projects are not as detailed as they used to be, and you missed a deadline last week.
I'm really sorry, and I won't let it happen again. I understand that I have been underperforming, and I will step it up.
I hope so. I'll explain it to the director, but I don't know how much more he will tolerate. That's all I had, so you better go back to work.
Okay. I really will change things around. Thanks for understanding.